Hi guys and welcome. If you're from Instagram, welcome old friend. If you found me on YouTube somehow, then welcome new friend. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make this blanket. I made it for a girlfriend who just had a baby boy, but you can really make it for anybody. You can make it as big or as small as you want to because there's really no pattern to follow, and you can just do it at your own size. The cool thing about it is that it is made with a color changing yarn. So even though it looks like you're changing the yarn just kind of does that all on its own and creates this beautiful color change that you don't have to work hard at doing. All right, so what you're gonna need is a crochet hook. This particular yarn uses a 5mm hook. It's called an H hook. You're gonna need a pair of scissors just to cut it once you're done. And this yarn needle, it is not a very pointy needle to put your ends in at the very end. I'll show you guys how to do that. All right, so we've got our yarn and we've got our hook and we're ready to start. I like to pull yarn from the middle of the ball just because it's super easy. You just pull as much as you want to and the yarn just kind of sits still. You could do it from the sides, but then you have to keep rolling the yarn over if you're doing it this way, and that just could get messy and tangly. So this is my favorite way to do it. This is an old ball of yarn, but you can do it with a brand new one. I'll show you just right here. It's just pulling from the middle and it just keeps coming out. So first we're going to start by doing a slip knot. And in order to do a slip knot, you take about, I'd say about 6 to 7 inches of yarn and you just leave that to the side. And then you go around your fingers all the way so that it kind of double laps over there, overlaps. And then you take the hook and you insert it in between your fingers and you hook that yarn through. Then you take your fingers out and the yarn is going to remain on your hook and you just pull it tight, not super tight that you can't move your hook up and down, but you don't want it very loose because then you're going to have a really big stitch over there. So this is perfect over here. Then we're going to begin to chain. So the amount of chains that you do depends on how big your blanket you want. But because this has no pattern, you can decide that as you go along. So here's how we chain. We hold the yarn in a little tiny knot over there with the 2 fingers, and you go and you grab a piece over there with your hook and you pull it through the little hole. And there's your first chain. So that's 1 chain. Then we repeat it. We go around and we hook it with our hook, pull it through the hole. That's 2 chains. Hook another one. That's 3 chains. Hook another one. That's 4 chains. And you just keep going until you get the size that you would like your blanket to be. For the blanket that I showed you guys for a baby, I chained 75 chains. So if you want to, you can always pause and you can go back if you want to see how that's done again, just in case. But for those of you that have already gotten it, I don't want to hold it up and then it's boring doing very slow chains. All right, so this is what I'm going to chain just for this demonstration one over here. For the other blanket that I showed you, I did 75 stitches, 75 chains. But again, you can decide. This is basically how long your blanket's going to end up being. So however many chains you put on it right now is the length of your blanket. And then what you're going to do next is count 3 chains from your hook. So the one that your hook is in right now doesn't count. So this does not count as a chain. Just these ones that have already been done count as a chain. So we're going to count down 1, 2, 3. We're going to put our finger over there. And what we're going to do is yarn over like that. And with the yarn being hooked on here, we poke it through that 3rd chain. Then we're going to yarn over again and grab some yarn and pull it through that loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again and hook some yarn and pull it through the first 2 loops that were on there, and then we're going to be left with 2 on our hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull through the remaining 2. And that is our first double crochet. Actually, the first 3 chains count as a double crochet as well, but this is the first one that we've actually done. So how we do that again, now we move over to the next one. So don't get it confused with this one over here because it's just being stretched out because now there's a stitch in there, but we're moving on to the next one. So that's this one over here. So we're going to yarn over again, then we're going to poke it through, yarn over again, and pull a loop through. So now we're left with 3 on our hook, yarn over again and pull through the first 2, then yarn over again and pull through the other 2. So now we have 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and then the chain. So let's do that again. We're going to yarn over, poke it through the next one, yarn over again. Now we're left with 3 on the hook. We yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over again, and pull through the next 2. So there's another one. Now we find the next one that it's going to go into. If you're finding this really difficult to hold with your fingers and you're not sure what to do, don't worry, because the rest of the work isn't this meticulous to hold. If this kind of holding is hard for you, once you get past the chains, it's not going to be that difficult to hold on to. So we yarn over, we poke it through, yarn over, pull it through. We have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through another 2. So moving on, yarn over, I bet you're getting it by now, push through the first hole there. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over and pull through another 2. And we're going to yarn over again, go into our next chain spot, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. It's looking like something. Yarn over, find your next chain spot, yarn over and pull it through, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you're getting kind of into a rhythm. Yarn over, next chain spot, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through another 2, yarn over, next chain spot, pull it through, yarn over, pull through those 2, yarn over and pull through the last 2. So I'm going to keep going until I get to the end and I will meet you there. But if by chance you get stuck, you can always rewind and you can follow along up to here until you are all done. Okay, so now we're getting to our last stitch. So it is the one that's right before this knot that we've done over here. That's the slip knot. So we're doing our last one. You yarn over, poke it through, yarn over and pull it through the chain spot, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we're all the way at the end of our row. And how we turn it over, because we're always working from right to left, how we turn it over is we're going to chain 3. So remember, to chain, we yarn over and we pull it through. So that's 1, then yarn over, pull it through again. That's 2, yarn over and pull it through again. So that's 3, and it will count as the first double crochet. Now we are ready to basically just start all over again. And the hole that you're going to be poking into, if you look at it from the top, it looks almost like little V's right there. They look like little V's. So each little V is 1 stitch. So you are going to be poking in underneath there. So right into that spot right there. And if it's hard to read your work, you can always put it down and you can kind of pull it apart and you can see each individual one. So this one is belonging to this hole over here. And then this one belongs to this hole over there. This one belongs to this one, and they're going to be nicely stacked on top of each other. So let's see how we do that. So we've got our chain 3, pull a bit more yarn there. So if we get confused, we're going to pull it apart a little bit. We know that this spot over here belongs to this one. So it's already used up because it goes down like that, nicely stacked on top of each other. So the next one we're going to be working into is right over there. So we're going to yarn over and poke it through there, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull another one, yarn over and pull through the other 2. So there we have it. See how it's sitting nicely right on top of the other one. Then the next one is right over there. So we're going to yarn over, poke it through, yarn over and pull a loop up, yarn over, pull it through the first 2, yarn over and pull it through the next 2. So there you have another one nicely stacked on top of that one over there. So we're going to keep going until the end. Yarn over, poke it through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the other 2. Yarn over, poke it through the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. Yarn over, poke it into the next one, yarn over and pull up a loop. We have 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One more time. There's the next one right over there. Yarn over, poke it through, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So I'll just work over here, but if you need to pause it and look again, you can pause, or you can rewind and watch again if you're getting lost. And I will meet you at the end and we can turn our work together one more time. Then I will let you finish off your blanket. Now it's getting easier to hold because you've got a little bit to hold on to here. So once you get past the first few rows, it's going to be really easy to hold. And when it gets big enough, if you're making a blanket for yourself, what's nice is when it can start to cover up your lap if you're cold. I like that part of crocheting. Get nice and cozy with a movie or a documentary. I actually prefer audiobooks, and when the blanket's big enough that it can cover up my legs, that is my favorite. Now if you're used to knitting, crochet is so much faster because it uses up about twice as much yarn, so you can get to this in what, like 2 minutes, whereas if you're used to knitting, which I do very rarely because it's so incredibly slow for me personally, because it doesn't use up quite as much yarn. So there we are in our last one, and now we're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and we are going to turn our work. There we have it. And we're going to look for the next stitch. So not this chain spot because we've already done that. We're gonna work our next stitch into here. So we're gonna yarn over, poke it through, pull up a loop. But you guys are pros now. This is our next one over here. Our next one over here. See how fluid it is? There's something to be said for no pattern to follow, because when you do follow a pattern, you have to count. So you're always like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, and then you can lose your spot and you have to undo it. And this is just nice, and you can pretty much not even think anymore once you have the muscle memory of how to do it. You don't even think, and then all of a sudden you're done a blanket. Okay. So I'm gonna let you guys work, but when you're all done your blanket, I'm going to show you how you tie in the ends. All right, so once you've gotten your blanket to be the size that you'd like it to be and you're ready to fasten off, I'm gonna show you how to do that. So we're at our last, I just undid my last few stitches here. So we're doing our last stitch over here. And if you decided that this is the length that you would like your blanket to be, all you have to do next is just yarn over and pull it all the way through. Cut some yarn and pull it all the way through. Just tie it down there. I personally, everybody does this differently, but I like to make another knot over here just to be kind of on the safe side that it's not going to come apart. And there you have it. Then we're going to take a little yarn needle, pull the yarn through, and then you're going to just work it through. I like to just put it back into the stitch to kind of get rid of this pointy part, but also just so that it doesn't come apart again. So you're just gonna nicely just work your way through some of the stitches. Then I go up and through, just pulling the yarn with you as you go. And it won't really look like there's anything extra in there just because it's all the same color. So you don't really want to take this yarn and go through here because you can very clearly see that that's a different color. So you're just going to work your way through there. And then we're going to take this one over here, which was where our chains started. And we're going to kind of do the same thing, just work our way through some of those. I like to do it at the top because if you're doing it through the middle of the stitches, like if you're going through here, then you're going to be able to see that something just doesn't look right. But if you're just winding it through the tops of them, then that's okay, and you won't, nobody's going to notice that that's there. And if you want to move down one, then you can do it through the stitch. There you have it. And then just work our way through the tops of these stitches over here. And then when you feel like you've tangled it up enough that it won't come untangled, you're ready to cut it out. Just going to do a couple more here. And then that's what it's going to look like. And when you feel like that's enough for me, then you just cut it, pull, and it's hidden away. There you have it. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with, what creations you make. I realized I did not show you the name of the yarn. It is this one, Cotton Cakes. And there's quite a bit in here. To make this size blanket that I did, it was just half of a ball of yarn. So you can easily get quite a bit out of the full ball if that's what you're going for. If you guys have any questions, then let me know. You can do so in the comments, or if you're from Instagram, you can always send me a message over there as well.